You are listening to Co-Create Your Life. In this podcast, we delve deep into the law of attraction, dispel common misconceptions, and give our listeners the tools they need to build a magical, purposeful existence in their everyday lives. Reclaim the creative power you already possess and join us at cocreationcoaching.org/create. That's cocreationcoaching.org/create.
Welcome to Co-Create Your Life. This is episode 26. Do you believe that you deserve your manifestation? I am Brandon Oliveris.
And I'm Christine Oliveris.
And I'm Justin Williams.
And today we are talking about feeling deserving. This is a big topic, I think. But before we get started, just an announcement, because I'm only doing one today. I actually remembered. If you would like to see the show notes for this episode, or you can sign up for the transcript or leave a comment, you can go to cocreationcoaching.org/create026. So, once again, today we're talking about whether you feel deserving to receive your goals, your manifestations. But before that, we have our weekly segment, Quote of the Week. And in today's quote, this is from James R. Ball. Okay, so here's the quote. We cannot achieve more in life than what we believe in our heart of hearts we deserve to have. So I think it's very applicable to what we're talking about today. And when I saw the quote, I was like, yeah, that's it. That's like the perfect one for what we want to do. So on to our topic. So again, this is a topic I don't think I've done too much on the blog about deservingness, but I think it's a big one. I'll kind of start out with a bit of a personal example. I won't be super specific about what it was, but I was sort of doing a meditation on, I actually led into this. It wasn't meant to be this in the beginning, but about a certain goal that I have. And in this meditation, I was trying to sort of give over this goal to the universe. And, when I was trying to do that, like I was thinking of other goals that I had and that I could do no problem. And this one specific goal, I was trying to give over, and I thought, I just felt resistance. And that was interesting to me because I didn't think I had that much resistance around it. Christine, I'll tell you what it was later. It was actually not that significant, so I was surprised I had resistance. But I absolutely did have resistance around it. And so I kept trying to give it anyway, but the message I got was the universe can't accept this goal until you feel like you deserve it. Now, at first I thought, okay, is this because the universe is saying, no, you can't have it? But that wasn't it, and that would be kind of weird because that kind of goes against what I say. Like I said, I tried to give it over anyway, but it wouldn't accept it until that feeling was present in me. And the message I got out of that, as I worked on that, was, you have to be the one to feel that. You have to be the one to say, I deserve this goal, before I can actually have the power to give it over. And so I did that. I did a little bit of like the work of Byron Katie is one of my favorites for things like this. And pretty quickly, I actually shifted that, thankfully, and I was able to give it over and really feel like it was accepted, really feel like it was on its way to being manifested. It's a very different way than how I usually do it, but I've been playing around lately with, the ways that I manifest things. But it was a really insightful experience for me because I've never really thought about that, honestly, the deservingness thing. Usually I just sort of push through it and whatever. But it was really highlighted for me how important feeling deserving is, because again, the universe isn't going to accept the goal until we feel deserving. So that's why I wanted to talk about this today, because I know there are a lot of people who feel like they want something. But they say, well, I don't have a good reason for it. And, I found myself at first trying to convince the universe, well, here's why I really want it. I thought, well, if I had a good enough argument, then they would accept it. But it kept saying, no, I don't care about arguments. You have to feel like it's what you deserve, regardless of the argument, before anything else can happen. It doesn't matter how good of a cause you have. It doesn't matter what you're going to do with it. You have to feel like you deserve this. That, 100%.
That's a hard one.
That is a hard one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's a really hard one. So, it's not about logical arguments. It's not about reasoning. And I've been saying this more and more recently, it seems. The universe, the subconscious mind, anything like that doesn't care about logic.
It's actually I know you meet people who don't seem like they talk negatively about what they have, and they say they don't feel like they really deserve it, but they got it anyway. And it's really strange because then they'll sabotage it later most of the time.
Exactly, right.
And it's like, you don't have to be like on this Stokes level all the time, but if you don't think you should have it, you'll find a way to actually mess it up.
Exactly. It reminds me of like lottery winners. I always mention that example, but lottery winners who get this big windfall and then they really, on some level, don't feel like they deserve it, and so they end up losing it. Because we can, egoically speaking, sometimes force a goal.
Yeah.
But if you're not ready on a spiritual level, you'll lose it. You'll sabotage it. You'll do so, or it won't be enjoyable. You'll mess it up somehow.
Or it'll take more energy to keep up with it.
Right.
You can have to devote more of your resources to get it. And you'll see that a lot where people devote a lot of their resources to something, and then it's like the rest of their life just doesn't work as well. And you'll see that sometimes.
So, you'll mess it up somehow, you'll sabotage it, whatever, that you just can't get it, And so it's easier, my theme lately has been manifesting from your soul, from your core essence. And the only way to do that is on a deep level, feel like you deserve it. And I feel like, back to the logical arguments thing, a lot of people, especially when it comes to physical things, we have this thing in the spiritual community where we can only get physical stuff, material things, if it's for some higher purpose. And even like I'm reading this book, and overall it's a good book, but I'm having to kind of throw away about 50% of what I read because a lot of it's about, well, it has to be for the highest good and it has to, serve other people. And I'm like, no, that's not my experience.
That's just the only thing I think I've said is it can get you out of the way so you can get it, but you don't have to have it. Like you can just get stuff because you feel like having it. You really can.
Right. And it's not egoic. It can be spiritual. So
just because you just want it.
So a lot of us will try to say, let's say we want money. Okay. And a lot of us will say, well, I want this money because I want to give it to charity, or I want to help out this person, or I want to start a business and this business will help a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's this whole light worker, selfless kind of thing. And if that's your authentic reason, then great.
That's fine.
But it usually isn't.
But it usually isn't. It's usually
a bunch of bull crap.
That's the thing, is if that's truly your reason, actually, like if you want to do something and that reason is coming from your soul essence, okay, you're probably going to get it pretty fast because you've gotten a lot of you out of the way. But most of the time, it's not. It's because they really want it egoically.
Right. And then so we feel like we have to defend it. And just a hint that if you feel that need that you have to defend it, and then you give all these altruistic reasons why you really want it, that's not really the core reason. Just embrace that. And, so we have to get to this point where we can say, I feel deserving of this goal just because. No reason, no higher goal, no, this is what I want. And that is a hard thing for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah, for
you know,
me.
because we want to give all these nice, flowery, good feeling, nice sounding reasons why we should have this goal. You know, we feel like we're up in front of a judge saying, this is why I really want it, you know, and only if we're proven worthy enough can it be given to us. But the message I got today, again, was not, oh yeah, if I see that you're deserving, if I see that your reasons are worthy, then you'll have it. It wasn't that. It was only if and when you feel that you are deserving of this thing, can it be given to you. In the most, you know, in the greatest sense possible, not in this way that's going to be sabotaged or something. So that, you know, you have to get over this need to defend your reasons, to argue your reasons. No one really honestly cares. It's not, it doesn't really matter. It's just about why you want it. You know, if you want money, let's say, you might just want it to buy something specific that you want. And that thing that's specific that you want, you might just want that to have more fun. You might just want that because it makes things easier for you. You might just want that because it's really cool.
You might.
Right? Like, I mean, let's say you want like I don't know, some kind of a Xbox or some kind of game console or something. Do you really think you're going to have some higher reason that you should have that? Like, no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But if you want it, you can have it.
Like, I want this Xbox so that I can make other people happy by my very talented gameplay.
And it doesn't always even have to be from your absolute core soul either. If you just really want something, just feel like you deserve it and get it.
But that's perpetuating the myth. Because what if it is from your core soul? Again, your core soul isn't just about helping the world. And
I agree.
You know, your core soul could be like...
It could just want a video game.
Right. I mean, this is in alignment with what I want as a soul, from my core.
Yeah. Like last night, I mean, I went out and had fun, man.
Right.
I didn't think about core soul or anything, y'all. I went on.
That because you didn't have any guilt, because you didn't have any reservations, because it didn't make you feel inauthentic, that proves that it was actually an expression of your core essence.
Yeah.
Going out and having fun and drinking and watching the fight and whatever is an expression of your core essence.
I just had a good time. I didn't even... I asked for a party to go to on Friday. I said, I need a party to go to tomorrow. And I thought, cigar shop. Okay, you know what? If that happens, that'll be okay. And then around 7-something, I had this urge, call, and it was another friend of mine, call you, you know. And he told me what he was doing. And, yeah, you could come. Yeah, just ask the host. I said, okay. And I just got this urge to call him. I'm like, wild horses can't stop this. I mean, that was pure spirit doing that.
Right, that's what I mean.
You know, it wasn't like it wasn't. Yeah, it was pure spirit. I didn't. You know what? It was core. I didn't even think of it as core. I just thought. I just asked Archangel Gabriel, I need you to communicate this to me one way or the other.
So that's what I mean. Like, it's not. You know, I don't want to say that. Oh, you don't have to worry about your core. You know, it doesn't always have to be from the core. If it's bringing you joy, and you feel authentic by doing this thing or by having this thing, then it's from your core. You know? Now,
I see your definition is a little bit different.
Now, if you were, let's say, exploiting someone else or doing something like that, and you felt kind of icky by doing that, but you felt like you had to, and so you tried to say, oh, I really want this, you know, then that would not be from your core, and you know, you wouldn't feel like you deserved it, and you wouldn't deserve that, obviously. And so if you got it, it would be from an egoic sense, not from a soul sense, and so it wouldn't be successful in the same kind of way. Okay? But if it's something that you truly, authentically desire, and that really makes you feel joyful, that's from your core. So that's what I mean, is I want to get rid of this myth that our core, our soul, is only concerned with the big, high, you know, selfless kind of thing altruism and all that, where we're serving the world and whatever.
Because we're meant to live on this earth and really enjoy ourselves and really get to know ourselves. And I don't know, that's just as much soulful as anything else.
You don't have, you don't have to have a great reason,
right,
to want something all the time. Just
exactly.
If you want it, just have it.
Right. So that
I don't, at least.
Right. So that's what I mean by, you are deserving of it if it's something that is authentically you. Now, I think you could go within, and this is what I was thought at first. I said, yeah, I went within. I said, this is what I want. And then I just felt on some level, I don't feel deserving of this, or I don't feel, at first I thought it's just not in alignment with my core. That was my first thought.
But any goal is, though.
Any
right?
goal can be. Well, it depends. Not necessarily. I mean, if it's something that's not on if it's something that you're doing out of ego, or if it's something, you want for a weird reason, then not necessarily. But if it's something that's a deep desire, a deep authentic desire that brings you joy, then yeah, generally it is.
If it's something kind of surfacey, it doesn't even have to be from your ego either. It can just be sort of some, hey, I want to go out tonight.
Right, exactly. Right. So what I'm saying is, so at first I thought, well, maybe this isn't in alignment with my core. But that felt disappointing to think that way. So that's kind of a hint that no, that's not true. And so I thought, well, maybe there's just, it feels shallow. And so I don't feel like I'm deserving of it, or I don't feel like I can ask this great force to hold this desire for me. And that's really what it was. It felt so trivial that, like, how can I ask for this? And that's what it was for me. It felt so trivial, but it wasn't. I mean, because I'll tell you, when I came to terms with it, and I gave it over, the message I got was, nothing you do or nothing you want is trivial. It actually kind of brings up a lot of emotion for me because it was a very deep thing. Nothing you do or nothing you want is trivial. It all matters. I really want that to sink into everyone listening, because it's very important. Nothing you do and nothing you want is trivial. That was the deepest message I got out of that meditation, out of that experience. And that
I can't wait to hear this story later.
It seemed so silly at first. It does stem out of what you and I were talking about before, and then it kind of it segued into this. But that was the message I got. Again, nothing you do and nothing you want is trivial. And so I thought, wow, this really is big. And this did seem trivial to me, and in a way it was. I mean, it wasn't this earth-shattering thing. It was something very simple. Yeah, and
I have a goal. I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
I have a goal that I really don't work on because of those feelings.
Right.
And I'm like, this is way too big. Right. I'm sure you know what it is.
Sure.
But yeah, it's like, and for a long time I haven't felt deserving of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand.
And, so that was the big thing. And once I gave that over and I felt deserving of it, I felt unconditional acceptance of that desire, of me for having that desire and everything. Like I said, it's an emotional thing because feeling unconditional acceptance is not common, for any of us.
Mm-hmm.
So how would, and you can answer this, Christine, and everyone listening can answer this, take your goal, how would it feel if you felt deserving of that goal? And if the universe, if God, if whoever you devote yourself to, or what you devote yourself to, said, this is not trivial. This is something that you want, and so it's important.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. How would that change things?
I'd go right after it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'd get it.
I've never even thought about. I just have always decided to just go for something that I wanted.
Sure, and
whether I deserved it or not, I would just find a way to make it work.
Right,
because that's a path that I was walking.
Sure, and I think that's what I've done a lot, and I think too that going at it from this direction can make it be so much deeper and easier to overcome what comes up, because it's like, you know what? I was told that I was deserving of this. I know on the deepest level, every part of my being knows that I'm deserving of this. Yep. And so no matter what resistance comes up, I know that the universe wants me to have this.
And sometimes I think if people, force it like that and go, I'm going after it no matter what, and universe, you can't stop me, so it's kind of like, well, what are you defending? Like,
well,
I feel like it's a very defensive.
I do not think it's defensive. I don't know if it's always the best strategy, but I've never sat around and thought. What I've always done is tap my core and feel which direction to go. I never went to go, do I deserve this? I mean, it's kind of like, if it feels like the alignment's right, I should just have it. I don't know.
Right, and that your programming might be different, where
you might have
really never came up for you, but in general, we're saying like.
Oh, okay, I see what
for other people.
If you feel like you're going against the flow, if you feel like I'm going to do. If it's this defiant thing, I'm going to have this. I don't care what you have to say about it, universe. I'm going to do it. Then
that's a tough way to go there, but
the universe is one. Above everything else, beyond everything else, the universe is one, undifferentiated. And this goes back to what I've talked about before, several weeks ago, about not going against the flow, but creating a new flow. You join the flow and change it from within, because the flow wants to go where you want to go. Now, if you stand where you are now and say, I don't care what you have to say, I'm going to do my thing, from a more egoic, defiant stance, then you're creating this opposition that doesn't have to exist. The ego believes in opposition. The soul does not.
Just because I know I could see myself doing that.
Right. So when you do that, the ego is creating this opposition, this us versus them. Whereas when you join with the universe and you realize, oh wait, the only one ever saying that I couldn't have it was me, then you join very deeply with the full creative force of the universe, and you can direct that to bring about what you want. And so it's a much deeper, much more holistic way of bringing about your desires, rather than this, again, defiant stance of, I'm going to have this no matter what. I mean, and I have talked about making your goal non-negotiable, just because you do need let's say, a spine in all this. You need to say, you know what, like, I'm not going to put this off. I'm not going to accept no. But that's not the same as going against the universe and saying, I don't care what you say. Making your goal non-negotiable just means, this is so important to me that I choose to have it, and I'm going to have it, and I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get it.
And you can only really do that when you're ready for it.
Right.
So, I mean, not you don't have to be perfectly ready for it, but you got to be lined up with it to commit.
Right.
In some respect.
Exactly. So that is the most important part there. And so again, you are inherently deserving of your goal because you want it. You are inherently deserving of your goal because you want it. And that is, I think, the deepest truth that we can possibly touch upon here. It's not trivial. It's not nothing, and that's an important realization. But it's not something you can just take intellectually and say, yeah, I know that my goal is important. I know that I'm deserving. you have to really go within and ask yourself, do I feel deserving of this goal? What if I had it right now? Or what if I had the opportunity to get it? Do I feel like I deserve it on the deepest level? And if the answer is no, you can't argue with it. You just have to make that shift within. And this is all you. The universe can't help with this. It can't tell you, can't convince you, hey, you're deserving and whatever. You have to come to that conclusion. Unfortunately, because it's hard sometimes. It would be nice to have some help there, but it's all you there. And so if you go within and sit with it and allow yourself to get to the place of feeling deserving of that goal, then it's so much easier to move ahead with it because you feel like you have the whole universe behind you. Like, I want this, the universe wants me to want this or to have this and want it, and so I will have it. And that makes things far, far easier. That was, like I said, the biggest message that I got, that when you feel you deserve this, then you have the whole force, the whole power of the universe behind you. And it's a lot easier. And plus, you're not questioning yourself the whole time, can I have this? Can I have this? Yes. The answer is yes. But you have to come to that point. Again, that's something you have to do on your own. No one can really help you with that. People can guide you. I've talked about coaching and things like that, and a coach can guide you, but no one can make that step for you. Like I said, the way I did it was basically asking, okay, I don't deserve this. Is that really true? And really sitting with that and going within, and is that really true? I don't deserve this. Why? And like I said, the Byron Katie, the work of Byron Katie sort of questions. Who would I be if I didn't believe that I didn't deserve this? And that broke it for me. I thought then I would, and then I'd have it.
Who would I be if I didn't think if I thought that I deserved this, right?
Well, just basically, who would I be if I didn't believe that I didn't deserve it?
Yes.
You don't have to necessarily turn it around, but just who would I be if I didn't believe this?
Yeah. No,
miserable.
No, if you didn't believe you didn't, so right now you believe you don't deserve it, who would you be without that? You'd be,
yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
Too many double negatives.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you be if you believed you deserved it?
Yeah, but it's too much of a negation, like a turnaround. So, we always
because you can't turn the energy around like that all the time. Sometimes you can, but a lot of times if you're in the, you almost need the, who would you believe if you didn't think you didn't deserve it?
Right, exactly. And if you didn't believe that, then you'd be a lot freer. You could have it. The whole universe would be behind you. And that in itself, once you see through the other side, then it's a lot easier to drop that. So that's my favorite technique, but whatever you want to use is fine. It can go either way, but that's my favorite thing to use. So, I think it's an important message, like I said, that you really do have to know, and it is a knowing, you have to know that you deserve it on the deepest level. And if you don't, things will be a lot harder. And a lot of the clients I work with always will say, what if I can't have this? What if I don't deserve to have this? And so that's one of the first things we have to address. And so I think it's very important. So that's really all I have for today. I hope that this discussion helps those, struggling with this question. You may not even realize you were struggling with this question until it came up. That's how I was.
Yep.
But again, just meditate on those points. Nothing you want and nothing you do is trivial. And, I think that will really help to loosen things up. That I think is very powerful. So once again, if you would like to see the show notes for this episode or sign up for the transcript or leave a comment, you can go to cocreationcoaching.org/create026. And if you'd like to subscribe to this podcast on iTunes or rate or review us, you can go to cocreationcoaching.org/create iTunes, or just search in iTunes for Co-Create Life, and you'll find it that way too. So I hope everyone enjoyed this topic today. It was a super deep one. It seems to be our theme lately.
Yeah, right?
But I definitely enjoyed it, and we will see you. Honestly, I don't know next week, because we'll be on vacation. I'm going to try, but I don't know if we'll see you next week. But either then or the week after. So I am Brandon Oliveras.
And I'm Christine Oliveras.
And I'm Justin Williams.
And anything is possible.